Dear students of Standard 10, let us start with human respiratory system. Human respiratory system starts from nose, which is divided into two nostrils or nasal chambers. In between two nostrils and nasal chambers, there is a nasal septum, which bifurcates two nostrils to each another. The nostrils are embedded with hairy skin of respiratory epithelial tissues, which is covered with mucous membrane that secretes mucus or mucus to keep the nostrils moist from dry and hot air, to filter the air, as well as protects from dust and other foreign particles. After nostrils, there is a small olfactory region. In comparison to lower vertebrate mammalians, for smell, this olfactory region is for the smell. The nasal passage opens into pharynx. Here there are two passages, one for food, which opens into the esophagus, and the another passes to pharynx, which passes to the larynx or the voice box. This opening is called glottis, where this pipes opens. This glottis is protected by epiglottis and prevents food to enter into the lungs. This pipe further opens into the trachea, or that is called windpipe also. The trachea is about 11 cm long and 16 cm circular chamber, which wall is guarded by 16 to 20 C-shaped or half-circled cartilaginous rings. You have already aware for the cartilage in previous class that prevents trachea to collapse. Further, trachea divides into two tubes called bronchi. Each bronchus, here bronchi is a plural and bronchus is a singular. So each bronchus divides and branched into thinner tubes called bronchioles. These bronchioles enter into the lungs and divide further into the finer branches called alveolar ducts. The alveolar ducts finally opens into extremely thin walled round shaped air bubbles like structure is called air sacs, or that is also known as a alveoli. Each alveolus is covered by a web of blood capillaries, fine blood capillaries, to exchange the air or gases here. These all internal surfaces of this respiratory surface are made up of ciliated epithelium. We have already discussed in previous class for the epithelial tissues in the chapter of tissues. So ciliated epithelial tissues. Human lungs contains about 3 into 10 to the power 8 air sacs, so which covers the surface area for the air approx 400 to 800 square feet. Just you can realize the situation of lungs, which is covered by the air or fulfilled by the air, that covers the area 400 to 800 square feet. The lungs are localized into the chest cavity of the thoracic region, as the lower region is known as the abdominal region, upper region is known as the thoracic region. So in the thoracic region, in the chest cavity, which is spongy and pink colors bag-like structure, both sides of the heart in the pleural cavities, which is covered with pleural membrane known as parietal pleura. You have to concentrate here. Again I am repeating, the spongy and pink colors bag-like structure lungs is localized both sides of the heart in the pleural cavities, which is covered with pleural membrane, fine membrane known as the parietal pleura. In between lungs and the parietal pleura, there is a viscous mucus-like fluid is present known as the pleural fluid, which acts or prevent the friction during expansion and relaxation of lungs during respiration. So as the inner surface of the parietal pleura and outer surface of the lungs, that to prevent the exerts, that the fluid is parietal fluid is present here. Now breathing involves in two steps. One is inspiration, another is expiration. So what is inspiration? In the process of breathing in, by which air brought into lungs from the external environment is known as inspiration, and after the exchange of gases takes place inside the lungs, the expulsion of air from lungs to the environment is called as expiration. So up to that you have to know about the localities, structure of lungs, the involved things or the organs into the respirations. So all about this. Now in next class we will discuss about the mechanism of breathing as well as transport of gases. Okay.